Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. But I haven't been able to figure out why I can't get that kind of warm reception from the people down at the courthouse. The only one down there, whoever has a smile on his face when I walk in, is the county executive. Well, I kind of figured this out, and the reason that I'm not warmly received down there is because I've decided not to side with the bureaucrats and the wasteful spending that goes on, and I've decided to be on your side. Like you, I believe in smaller government, a restrained federal bureaucracy, lower taxes, more rights for the states, a strong national defense, and safer streets here at home. I'm kind of in an unenviable position right now, a very dangerous position, and they didn't tell me that. And they told me when I was speaking here, and I'm the only thing standing between you and lunch. I didn't come with my body armor. I also left my firearm out in the truck. So I know I got to make this quick. And I will. You've been patient, but I need to walk you through something that was mentioned today. But I want to walk you through it because I need you to understand how dangerous this public policy that has been proposed is. In 1998, then Director of Wisconsin State Department of Corrections, Walter Dickey, proposed an idea of early release for state prison inmates. It was then called the Intensive Sanctions Program. The idea was that the program would take these career criminals and that they would automatically have an epiphany and become law-abiding citizens. Walter Dickey failed to understand the recidivist nature for which crime and violence have become an ingrained behavior, a lifestyle. The early release of thousands of state prison inmates was a disaster, leading to an increase in crime rates, most notably in the Milwaukee area. The irony here is that then Attorney General Jim Doyle blasted not only Walter Dickey, but his crazy idea. He ran for governor in 2002, citing the fact that he did not support early release of state prison inmates, but apparently Jim Doyle has had a change of heart. He reasons now that it is safe and that it will only lead to the release of low-level drug offenders and other non-violent offenders. He states that it will save money. Low-level drug offenders, Governor Doyle? You mean the ones, for example, that shot and killed a 38-year-old Milwaukee woman as she looked out her window when a drug house was being robbed? Governor, do you mean the low-level drug offenders who were feeding that poison to a 16-year-old Whitefish Bay girl who died of an overdose? Or maybe, Governor, you're alluding to the 25 crooks who were running a drug enterprise in the city of Milwaukee that were just rounded up by a task force that included some of my sheriff's deputies. This drug ring was supported by intimidation, robbery, illegally possessed firearms that led to shootings. You mean those low-level drug offenders, Governor? These are inevitably the miscreants that he wants to return back to live among law-abiding citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, this dangerous attempt at social engineering is a Trojan horse. It's a trap. Don't fall for it. The facts are these. The United States Department of Justice figures show that well over half of the people locked up in our state prison institutions have been convicted of a violent felony. Most are repeat offenders, and those in prison for drug offenses are members of notorious street gangs. The Wisconsin Public Policy Research Institute report on who is really locked up in our state prison system revealed that 94% of state prison inmates have been convicted of or arrested for a violent felony. This report also revealed that 90% of the prison inmates that are released eventually return back to prison. This revolving door does not protect the public, and in fact puts it at greater risk. When we start releasing prison inmates in high numbers, those who are released are bound to include inmates with lengthy criminal histories and violence in their backgrounds. We simply cannot ignore this failure. Rehabilitation does not work with this population. It is reckless, irresponsible, and downright dangerous for Governor Doyle and Secretary of Corrections Rick Ramish to unleash these dangerous criminals back into the streets in southeast Wisconsin. We'll wind up with even more victims, plus the cost of reincarceration. Ladies and gentlemen, that for me is too heavy a price to pay. In fact, this idea will not save money, because the most expensive costs in corrections are not housing and care of inmates, it's state employee costs, wages, benefits, and pensions. The governor mentions nothing about this. No reduction in staff will occur with fewer inmates to watch. They'll just spread the remaining prison inmates throughout the system. Governor Doyle's short-term plan to reduce correction costs will have long-term consequences for the people that he took an oath to protect. I do have an offer for Governor Doyle, however. Put into the budget a measure that will allow law-abiding Wisconsin residents the right to protect themselves from the for law-abiding Wisconsin residents the right to protect themselves from these recently released criminals by being able to go armed with a concealed weapon. And only then will I back his proposal for early release. Do you think he'll take me up on it? I don't either. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. You've been so kind, you've been so patient. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much.